First story is titled, Would I be the a-hole if I sent a cease and desist letter to my late husband's daughter? I, 58 female, was left the sole beneficiary of my late husband's will. My husband died this year from a heart attack. He left me a very large amount of money, as well as our house that was in his name and a few other properties outside the city. He left nothing, however, to his children. His children, 30 female and 28 male, have been contacting me incessantly about the money and properties. They feel that they should each get a property and a portion of the money. My husband did not have a relationship with his children, however, which was largely a result of his previous wife's actions. This isn't just my opinion. I heard the calls and saw the court documents. His second child is not biologically his, which he found out when the boy was 3, which led to the divorce. His wife, however, convinced the kids that he had cheated on her. He hadn't. His children hated him as a result of her actions, though he was a loving dad, and refused any contact. This crushed my husband. The hurts grew into resentment, and he decided not to leave his children anything when he died. He updated his will 4 years ago. I do not want to give his kids anything either, though I have the means to. I told them as such, and the daughter blew up at me and began calling me nonstop. I blocked her, but she somehow got a hold of my work email. I'm a professor, and sent me several angry emails. Neither the son or daughter is well off, and the daughter has 3 kids whom I've never met. She has a house, however, so I believe she wants the property for her mother. Apparently, her mother loved those properties. They have been in my husband's family for generations. I do feel bad for her kids, but their mother has treated me terribly, and my husband would roll over in his grave if his ex-wife acquired one of those properties. Would I be the a-hole if I sent a cease and desist letter to his daughter? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. They refused contact, and also it's not his ex-wife's business either. Do take legal action. The situation warrants it. Seriously, that's harassment, plain and simple. You do better to have a lawyer and send a cease and desist letter to the daughter. If she's continually harassing you, and at work no less, you have rights. There are laws in place to force her to stop. I just gave this advice to another poster, but it works here too. The EEOC website has a lot of info about harassment and what to do about it. You would not be the a-hole. Good luck, and I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you. It was the fact that she is harassing me at work that prompted me to consider taking legal action. I worked hard to get this job, and I have no idea if she plans to cause any further disruption. I am looking to get a lawyer. Not the a-hole. Your husband's will is clear. Tell me if I'm wrong here. The children did not try to amend their relationship with their dad, right? They're only coming to you after his death to get the money. If they had apologized and tried to work through the resentment, then your husband would have left something to them. Am I correct in assuming that? No, they did not, unfortunately. My husband tried several times. The son actually did call once many years ago, but he was not looking to reconnect. He was asking for info related to his bio dad, as his mom would not tell him. He absolutely would have left them something had they been in good terms, or even had they just been in contact. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not using my daughter's college fund to support my future grandchild? I, 45 female, have been a single mother to my daughter, 18 female, ever since her father passed away when she was a baby. It was hard pulling us through, but we made it. I finished my degree, earned a nice job with a high salary, and now we live comfortably. One of my priorities was setting aside a college fund for my daughter. Her father had started one when he found out I was pregnant, and I chose to add on to it once he passed. When she was 17, I sat down with her and told her that once she is ready for college, do not worry because I and her dad have saved up money for her education. I told her this money could go towards tuition, housing, food, books, etc. She planned on moving into an apartment in the same state as the school and attending some online classes / some in person. Anything to make her college life comfortable and fun I was willing to offer. I wanted the best for her because when I went to college, I struggled financially. She was grateful and thanked me. Obviously, the pandemic has made school different for everyone, and senior year of high school was difficult for her. But she was still accepted into one of the top schools in the nation, USA, and I was so proud of her. 4 days ago, she sat me down and told me that she was pregnant. I was shocked because she was on birth control. I figured it was an accident. She's due in September, right when school starts. That meant we had to back out signing a lease for a future apartment and would have to stay home to raise the baby. Starting college with a newborn would have been a challenge, but doable. So I accepted it. Until later that night I overheard, not eavesdrop, her convo with her boyfriend. She told her boyfriend not to worry about supporting the baby. She would just use her college money for it. I also heard that she's been lying to me. Turns out, she decided to stop taking the pill simply because she wanted to switch to a different birth control, but she didn't tell me. So for the past 3 months, she's been picking up her birth control and she wasn't taking them. If she wanted to switch to something else like the implant or an IUD, I would have supported it. I'm not some stuck-up prude. I was open to my daughter about protecting herself from STIs/pregnancy, so this choice confuses me. Next night, I told her that she and her boyfriend would have to find a way to support the baby, because her college fund was for college only. She broke down, asking me how she was going to manage to support her baby when she and her boyfriend had a job. I told her she should have thought about that before she spread her legs with no contraception. She called me a horrible mother and grandmother because I was setting them up for failure. I told her that I set her up for success, yet she chose the route which made things difficult for her. She told some other family members and are saying that I'm the a-hole and should think of the child. I replied that while I love my grandchild, I plan on staying firm about the college fund. But now I'm unsure. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She made her own decision getting pregnant, and now it's time to live with the consequences. As long as you hold on to the money for if she ever goes to college, you will fulfill that part. I am assuming though you will still support her and the baby, but just not giving up the savings. That was my original plan. Honestly, had this truly been an accident pregnancy while she actually on the pill, I would feel more inclined to help her. But as it stands, I do not want to be the primary provider for the grandchild. She is expected to find a job as soon as she can, even if it's just part-time in a retail place after the baby is born. I am okay with babysitting while she works/is in class, but most of the financials has to be her responsibility. I think that is more than fair, considering some parents would have kicked their child out and offered nothing. Not day hall. She made that choice as an adult and needs to learn there are consequences. I decently like the comment about setting up a trust fund for the future grandchild. I'd ask your daughter if she ever plans on going to college, and if she doesn't plan on it, turn it into the grandchild's trust fund. This sounds like a great idea for the future grandchild trust fund. The last time we talked, it's been a few days now because she's still mad at me. Lol. She agreed to stay home and have the baby, do all classes online, find a part-time job as soon as she was able. I was willing to support them for a few months while she recovered and looked for a job. But ever since I found out about the lying, I have such mixed feelings about it. If later down the road she decides she isn't ready for college, that's fine. The fund will still be there for her and/or her daughter when she decides to a further education. Thank you for your input. Not day-hole. She tried to scam you into paying for her planned teen pregnancy. I know a woman whose daughter did that. She and her boyfriend wanted to have babies while they were 18 to 20, so they could get free room, board, and child care, and then travel the world at 40 when the kids were adults. Only they didn't consult the intended providers of the free room, board, and child care. On to the next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my daughter out because she ruined her stepsister's things and makes life difficult in the house? I have 2 daughters, Leah 19 female and Lucy 16 female. I adore my girls, but since I remarried Rebecca fairly soon after the divorce, they weren't impressed, especially since I gained a stepdaughter, Sophie 18 female. I did my best, but they remain closer to their mother to this day, and when the lockdowns first started, they wished to stay with her and communicate with me through tech. Clarification because everyone was asking, I did not cheat. My ex-wife, Sharon, has been struggling since the pandemic. Money is tight for both her and her boyfriend Luke, and with them and both the girls, there's not a lot of space. Leanne especially is coping very poorly, and Sharon asked if I was willing to have her for a short while. Apparently at Leanne's request. I was surprised by this, since she was the one who felt most negatively towards me after the divorce, and we recently had a big fight because she dropped out of university. So I agreed, knowing that it would be tough. But her behavior hasn't been acceptable. She's rude to Rebecca. She frequently takes clothes off Sophie's. She says she and Lucy share things all the time, but their relationship and attitudes to clothes is different. Sophie's wardrobe is essentially sacred to her for reasons, and I don't have the word count to explain, but candid comments have deemed irrelevant. Leon also makes a lot of noise, a symptom of her mother's household, swears a lot, is messy and very aggressive when she doesn't get her way, or is rebuked for her behavior, particularly if it's Rebecca that said something. Tensions have been rising lately, because Sophie was due to start university again today. Leon and I fought about this, as I mentioned, so it was a delicate subject regardless. And with Leon's noise disturbance, Sophie has found it difficult to concentrate on her prep work, so they've been arguing even more. Sophie bought a new shirt and necklace for her first meeting today. A new outfit for a specific event is Sophie's code for "I'm stressed about this." The idea of an online term is quite daunting. Today, she went to get dressed and found a blouse ripped apart and the necklace destroyed on her bed. She started crying. There was a big fight. Rebecca calmed Sophie down in time for her class, and I sent Leon to her room and told her to stay there until her mother arrives to pick her up. Not just the vandalism, but the fact that she deliberately searched for the item she knew Sophie had chosen to calm herself down for her class was just too much for me. I've said I'm happy to take Lucy if space is still an issue, but Leon can't live in my house if she's going to destroy her stepsister's property and make life difficult for everyone. Sharon, Luke, and Leon all say I'm an a-hole for putting them in this position and not prioritizing Leon because she's my daughter, and they won't pick her up. So am I the a-hole? Wow, not the a-hole. Your daughter is an adult. Her stepsister would be well in her right to sue her at this point. She chose to be evil. Your ex doesn't want to pick her up? No worries. Put her in an Uber and put conditions for her coming back if you ever consider letting her. Apologies, therapy, and strict respect of your rules and your stepdaughter's space. And pay for what she destroyed, or replacing it. Your daughter is way too old to act like a toddler in my opinion. Edit. Please don't take my mention to suing as an indication she should be taken to court, but rather that she has reached the age where destroying someone's property can get her into real issues. Property destroyed in harassment can get you in adult troubles. I get that this is Reddit, but the idea that suing is the response to every possible problem is ridiculous. The effort, time, and money spent taking a family member to court over a shirt and a necklace is simply not worth it. Let me emphasize, because other Redditors have focused on the potential dynamics of your divorce and on step-siblings rivalries. Your action here is age-appropriate parenting. Leon is over 18, refuses to follow house rules, is rude and messy, steals from Sophie and destroyed Sophie's new belongings in a malicious action targeted to cause maximum distress. In the adult world, actions have consequences. If you tolerate this under your roof, then it would set up Leon and her future roommates for disaster. If Leon treated an adult in an apartment share the way she treats Sophie, then Leon could end up in small claims court, plus a police report for vandalism and a civil restraining order. Although it's unlikely the vandalism would be prosecuted, these are things that could turn up on a background check. The mildest way to curb that behavior before it creates a public record is to make Leon move in with other relatives. You're pursuing that course, she won't be on the streets. She'll resent you for it in the short run. Leon is living in the moment. 10 years from now, when Leon has a bit more life experience, she may understand why you demonstrated that boundaries matter. You also owe a reasonable home environment to Sophie so she can focus on her studies without abuse. Not the a-hole. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my mom when I corrected her new friend who thought my daughter was my little sister? My daughter Ava is 4 years old. I had her young. My girlfriend passed away when my daughter was a baby, so I'm mostly on my own taking care of her. Before pandemic, I used to leave Ava at daycare. But since it's closed and not safe for her to be out, I started paying my mom to watch her weekdays when I work. My mom told me a month ago this lady just moved in a few houses down and she comes over to chat. I never met her until Friday when I got off work early and went to pick up my daughter. Ava was playing in the backyard, so I stayed longer. Then her neighbor friend came and my mom introduced us. The lady commented that it's so sweet I still make time to visit my mom and play with my little sister. I looked at my mom confused and thought she would correct the lady, but she was just standing there, smiling like she agreed. So I told her she's my daughter actually. She was just as confused as I was, but she just went, "Oh." My mom, I guess, tried to save face, saying she loves my daughter like her own so it's easy to forget. Anyways, it was awkward, so I just got Ava and we went home. I have this week off, so not taking her to my mom's place. My mom called earlier because she's mad her friend isn't talking to her much. Before, she would come over every day, and now she hasn't come since Friday. My mom said her friend assumed Ava was her daughter when they first met, and she was embarrassed to admit she's her grandma because she didn't want the lady thinking bad about her. She says I didn't have to ruin it for her, and it didn't hurt anyone to let her think that. We ended up arguing. My mom's mad I embarrassed her, and now she might have lost a new friend. I'm mad she'd lie about something like that, and didn't consider she could be confusing Ava saying stuff like that. She swears she never said anything in front of my daughter, but I don't know if I believe that. I get it, some people are gonna judge me for being a young dad, or judge her as a parent, so I guess I can see where my mom was coming from. Even if I don't care, they can think what they want. But it did embarrass my mom, so I want to know if I'm the a-hole here for saying something about it. Now for the top comments. I get it, some people are gonna judge me for being a young dad, or judge her as a parent. Yeah, and some people are a-holes, but not you. Not an a-hole. That friend isn't coming over anymore because Opie's mom pretended to be Eva's mom, not because of how young anyone in this scenario had their kids. Because that is hella weird behavior. Opie's mom embarrassed herself. I wouldn't come over either. Not an a-hole. Your mom is a major a-hole. This would severely bother me. I'm so sorry. Your mom was deceitful, which is probably why the lady isn't talking to her now. What's embarrassing about you raising a daughter that you had young? I guess it would be embarrassing for her to admit you have taken responsibility instead of just running off and forgetting you have a daughter. I just can't even understand her thinking. I'm proud of you and very impressed. Honestly, sounds like the mom is the one judging her son in the whole situation. Life happens. Why be embarrassed by it? Not the a-hole. She even admitted it was her own wrongdoing that got her into that situation. You had nothing to do with it. Seems like a silly thing to have a fight over in my opinion. But you do you, Opie. We had different reasons for that fight. Mine was, I was mad she was saying this, and it could have confused my daughter by making her think my mom is actually her mom. What makes you not believe her promising you that she didn't say that in front of your daughter? This lady was apparently there all the time while my mom was watching her. I don't know if I can believe she didn't make any comments around my daughter, or if she was around them when her friend assumed that. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.